The question that comes up, the way it's typically asked, is how I made what people perceive as a quantum leap from the world of science and engineering into the spiritually based technologies that we'll be talking about today. And I guess for me, it was less of a leap and more of a logical progression. I've always believed that science is a language only, and that spirituality is a language only, a way of being. And both languages describe our relationship to ourselves, to one another, to our world, and ultimately to a greater presence, however we perceive that presence. So whether we're studying science to understand who we are, or we're studying ancient wisdom and ancient traditions, for me they lead to the same path and into the same place. And in my time as a scientist, what I have found, my background's in the hard sciences. And as good as our science is today, we know it's incomplete. That the best scientists will openly admit that our science is incomplete. In many cases, our religious and spiritual traditions, as good as they are incomplete as well, because they've been changed over tremendous periods of time. So for me, as an engineer working in the defense industry, during the last years of the Cold War, watching the world come this close to doing the unthinkable, my question to myself was, how could we marry the best of the two ways of knowing, the best of science and the best of spirituality, into a greater wisdom that helps us to remember that we're a family, that we love one another, that we need one another in this world, that we are empowered in ways that we're only beginning to understand. And that ultimately has led, that's the umbrella under which all of my work falls. And the bottom line to everything we're doing is the different pieces unfold. And although they may appear to be very different from one another, prayer different from DNA, different from the magnetics of the earth, different from understanding an ancient text, what they're all saying to us, Michael, is that we are much more than we've been led to believe. We tend to live our lives within the limits of what we believe to be true about ourselves. And many of those limits come from what other people tell us, what science tells us, what religious traditions tell us, what our culture tells us, what other people tell us. And my question was, what if those beliefs are wrong? What if there's much more to who we are and our capabilities? And as we watch the greatest challenges of recorded human history unfold in front of our very eyes right now, we all sense, people all over the world have a sense that there's something more that we can do. And there's this inner yearning to understand what that is. So the bottom line to all of this work is that we now know beyond doubt, and this isn't a wishful thinking and it's not a simple metaphor, that we truly are not limited by the laws of physics as we know them today. We're not limited in space and time. We are not limited to the laws of biology as we know them today. And when you marry those two new ways of understanding, it changes everything, because it means we are truly architects of our reality, of our bodies, of our world, and that there is an internal technology that is being birthed right now that I believe will replace the other belief systems that are falling away because they served us so well. They brought us to this point, now they no longer make sense. They're falling away, and we are literally birthing a new belief system that is, it's not purely spiritual, it's not purely scientific, it's a marriage of both. It doesn't even have a name yet. And it's probably better that it doesn't, because the moment we put a name to it, it'll have a label and it'll be in the box and somebody's going to try to own that. So all of our work is about empowering us as individuals and as a family to meet the challenges that we're seeing in our personal lives and globally in our world today. My background is as a scientist. I was trained in the hard sciences as an earth scientist, as a geologist initially, as a life scientist, strong background in biology, and as a computer scientist. And as different as those sound from what we're doing, it's interesting to me. A growing number of scientists and researchers are now viewing human consciousness as a massive computer operating system. This is the metaphor they're using. And if you look at consciousness as an operating system, then what programs that operating system are the things that we call the beliefs. and how we feel, the human emotion and how we feel about our beliefs. What the science is now showing is that there's a quality of emotion that we can hold within our hearts. It's called coherent emotion. It's not a thought, it's a feeling. And there's a power in human emotion and in our feeling that literally changes the chemistry in our bodies and changes our biology, changes the DNA in our bodies, and we'll talk more about that. And also changes the physical reality around us in ways that look very mysterious to the Western mind, because the information that we have relied upon to tell us about those things in our past has been edited tremendously over the last 2,000 years. In other cultures, that information was not edited. So the value of going into living cultures, such as in the Tibetan monasteries or the monasteries of Peru or Bolivia or Egypt, is that we find that there is a wisdom intact, a living wisdom in their culture that was once a part of ours that we lost. And as we reincorporate that piece into what we already know, it empowers us to feel empowered and to feel that we're part of, rather than separate from, the situations in our lives, whether it's our marriages and divorces or the health in our bodies or the peace between nations. It's all the same energy. So science is the underlying factor. Between 1993 and the year 2000, Western science confirmed what ancient spiritual traditions have always said, and that is, in fact, that we are bathed in a field of intelligent energy, and that this energy plays essentially three roles. It is a container for everything that we experience in our universe. It is literally the container that holds the universe. It is a bridge between our inner and outer experiences. When you have a prayer in your heart and you wonder why it can have an effect in the battlefields of Iraq with our loved ones, it's because of the way this field works. So number two, it is a bridge. Number three, it is also a mirror. This field is a living, pulsating, shimmering, glimmering essence. It's a quantum essence that mirrors in the world around us what we create in our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and emotions within us in a literal way. And this isn't figurative. It's a very different way for the Western mind to think about these things. But scientists now are finding, quantum physicists have determined that the quality of our beliefs while we are observing the world around us actually impacts and determines how the world reacts and how that world unfolds. So what's happened for almost 100 years, scientists have been doing their best to convince us that we're made of these little packets of energetic particles called quantum particles, and we believe them now. So we believe that we are a quantum essence on the one hand. Now that they're able to observe these quantum particles and see them do miraculous things like heal themselves and be instantly connected to everything, everywhere, no matter where they are, and they're not limited in space and time. Now that scientists can see the stuff we're made of has these miraculous particles, they're trying to separate us from those particles. They're saying, well, that has nothing to do with your everyday life. And the truth is, it has everything to do with our everyday life. Because my belief, and the belief of a growing number of scientists, is that rather than showing us our scientific limits, that the model and the behavior of those quantum particles are showing us our greatest potential. And what stands between us and experiencing the great potential that the universe holds for us are our beliefs. And our beliefs, we now know, are measurable quantities of energy that we can change in very precise ways to create these effects in our lives. And in doing so, we feel empowered to be part of, rather than separate from, the experiences in our lives. So this is being validated in accredited academic institutions, scientific institutions. Princeton University has done a lot of work with the Global Consciousness Project, validating that this consciousness field actually exists. We've done global prayer vigils, real-time applications of teaching people over the internet how to hold this quality of emotion in our hearts in a given window of time. And while that is happening, hundreds of thousands of people are participating.